Storey Building here in Badagry, first in Nigeria. So this is the First Storey Building in Nigeria. Like you've been hearing about it, you are inside it now. You might have been hearing it on medias, on books, people talking about it, maybe even on our history page back then. But really, right now, you are in one of the rooms, which is the living room in the First Storey Building, among the rooms. So you're welcome once more. My name, nice to have you here in Badagry. So the history goes this way. I believe you've been hearing about the missionaries that came to Nigeria all the way from England, thinking of where to go, and the thought of Nigeria, no Christian race, no Christianity aspect in Nigeria. Then they decided to come to Nigeria. Back then in Nigeria, they were all idol worshippers and all sorts. So these people decided to bring in Christianity into Nigeria. These people, Henry Townsend and Thomas Bridge Freeman, they co-joined and came down to Nigeria. They are the missionaries, Christian missionaries, all the way from England. So by the time they came to Nigeria, they thought of where exactly they want to settle. Then they decided to come to Badagry. So arriving Badagry, they arrived this spot. This was where they got as they arrived. Yes, sure. They built it. They never built it this way. They got to this place and all this was not here. Both the fence was not here. The plants were not here. So they decided to start up something, which they started with raffia buildings, wooden buildings. Like when you were coming from the gate, I don't know if you sighted some signposts through the gates, okay, which is talking about the boarding dwelling, the schoolmaster's dwelling, the boarding school, and also even the kitchen outside and the toilet outside. Internally, there was no kitchen and there was no toilet. So in this building, we have 6 rooms in total. This we are standing right now is the living room downstairs. We have 1 upstairs. We have 2 rooms left and right, and we have the same goes upstairs, 2 rooms left and right upstairs, and 3 stores. Then internally, there was no toilet, no kitchen. They were all outside. So these people now decided that they needed a place where they can gather and sit. So just get shade for 1 or 2 of their programs, events whenever they want to gather. They now thought about getting this place at the Agia spot, just a stone throw from here, outside. That is where the history came from, the Agia tree monument. This is the historical Agia tree. That is where they got a big tree that had a large shade where they sat down to hold their meetings, to hold their services, and some other things. So that same place was where Thomas Bridge Freeman and Henry Townsend decided to stay and proclaim Christianity. So then proclaiming the Christianity under the same tree, September 1842, they decided to celebrate the very first Christmas here in Badagry, in Nigeria as a whole. So by December this year, Christmas celebration in Nigeria as a whole will be clocking 182 years. So by then, they keep holding their services and thought of what to do to this place, where they can stay and other things, and hold their school. So they decided to build this. Them deciding to build this, they decided to ship in materials from England also, from the high sea, the point of no return you're going to go now, down to this spot. And they started the material, they started the building. The material they shipped in are the brick stones you're seeing right now. The hinges used to hold the doors and the windows frame. The woods, all the woods were the only Nigerian material we had among all, which is used for the doors, the windows, the decking, the skeletal part of the roof. Then the iron corrugated sheet also was from England, and the nails they use and all other things, which we still have some of them inside, which you're going to see. So they brought in those materials and arrived here. That same year, they celebrated the very first Christmas in Nigeria. They arrived this compound with those materials also. So they decided to build this house. It lasted for 3 years. They started 1842 and completed it 1845 by the man called Reverend C.A. Goma. And by the time they finished it, 3 years after they finished this building, Henry Townsend now said in his word, he said, this house is strong and convenient and will prove very comfortable. Then he now went ahead saying, during the erection, many persons have come to see it, especially of the single roof. Especially of the single roof. Then he said, it's the first he has ever seen. So this brick stone is what they use around the whole building. And since he said this, ever since this building has been placed here, till date, since the year 1845, 2024, the building is still standing strong with just these 4 pillars. Sorry, the 6 pillars we are seeing now. Center 6 pillars. Yes, sir. Whereas all other parts round has no pillar, just this living room pillars. And it's still standing strong till date. For him to say that then, up till now, the building is still standing strong. And at the same time, we have large crowds that come around to tour every day. At times we have 1,000 people, over 1,000 people that comes in every day to tour this place. And as they go from one room to the other, they climb the decking. This decking all around, internally, is all wood. Both the rooms inside are woods. And as they climb the decking, up to date, up and down, large crowds. At times, when they come large crowd like that, we have to bring them in badge, 250 badges. And as they climb on it, the woods are still standing strong. The building is still standing strong. Then this tree stood and fell on its own. Stood for over 300 years and fell on its own. And by the time it fell, they created this monument over it. So this monument that was created over it is just not far from here, just by the side of the town hall. I don't know if you saw the town hall, Badagry town hall. Yeah. There's a little stadium built just by the side of the town hall. It looks like a stadium. This was what was on the space first when this fell. They created it on the space for remembrance sake. They just changed it to that mini stadium. So they created this monument just to remember this event every year, what happened in Nigeria, here in Badagry. Up to date, every December, Badagrians still celebrate and keep this remembrance every December, called the Badagry Carnival. So we want to tour each rooms round so that you can see more as you go this way. So here is the iron corrugated sheet, which we still have on the roof till date. Has not been changed. This is the long length, and we have the piece of it here. So, since the year 1842. Here is the nail called the cap nail, all shipped in. And here we have the Nigerian cap nail, totally different from this. This, their own, they use it in 2 ways. This way for the roof up, it can only punch this can punch this. So it's used up the roof. But when it wants to be used to join one wood or the other, it's used the single way. But it's called the cap nail. So here we have the screw nail for the deckings. Here is the burnt brick stone used from the floor round the building to the 2 coach of the building. And here we have the hinges used to hold the doors and the windows firm, which we still have in the building upstairs, the doors upstairs, sorry. Then here is the very wood brought from Nigeria, the only Nigerian material since the year 1842. And we still have it standing strong without the termite in it not being treated. So this is what you see on the doors, on the windows, the decking, the skeletal part of the roof. And at the same time is what we have been climbing on, which we are going to do right now. So shall we move to the other side this way?